Welcome to Scorched Earth and a general reading for the sign of Capricorn, Sun, Moon or Ascendant for the month of April 2023. I hope you are well. I'm using the Pagan Otherworlds Tarot for you today. Bit of housekeeping before we begin. If the reading resonates with you and you'd like to go a little bit deeper, there will be an extended that you can access at the end. That's the first link in the description box. The second link in the description box is to the 6-month overviews that I've done for each of the signs. We're a little way through that period now, so prices have come down accordingly. If you would like to know what this period of time has in store for you, then please feel free to avail yourself of that link. And the final link is to my private community, the Order of the Phoenix, over on the Circle. It has all the extended content over there, plus a really amazing group of people. So if you're interested in that, you know what to do. Let's have a look and see what's going on with you, Capricorn. Oh, goodness. Right. We have two cards. We have the Knight of Pentacles and the Three of Swords in your recent past. Knight of Pentacles being Virgo energy, but I don't think that you're feeling, I don't know, I'm not feeling a Virgo, I'm feeling Virgo energy. So tell me about current energy, please, for Capricorn. We have the Queen of Swords and the Page of Swords. And then what is coming towards Capricorn, please, for, oh goodness, I've got another two cards. We've got the Six of Swords and we've got the Three of Wands there. So definitely movement, and I think it's necessary. It's very sword heavy. We've got the High Priestess at the bottom of the deck here, which is Pisces energy, and it is followed immediately by Judgment, which is Aries or Scorpio, depending on how you read it, right? But there's a sense here of something big shifting for you. In the best tradition of these things and how they work, and magic in general, there is always a cost, it seems, and the cost looks like it's leaving something behind, right? I'm just going to leave it there for a second. Let me flip the cameras around so you can see what I'm looking at. Let's get some clarifiers on here and we'll take it from there. Tell me about this Three of Swords and the Knight of Pentacles. Ooh. We have the Queen of Swords in reverse. We have the Eight of Wands. And one more card. Thank you. Oh, I wanted two. Right. Okay, I wanted one, but we've got two. Tell me about the Queen of Swords. Six of Swords again. The Four of Cups. Good Lord. Lots of cards coming out for you. Eight of Swords and the Hermit. Tell me about the Six of Swords, please. Seven of Swords. Eight of Pentacles. And the Nine of Cups. Yeah, I mean, the Queen of Cups is at the bottom of the deck here. I'll shift that out of the way so that you can see. I think it's clear to me, and the point is, it probably very much isn't clear to you at this point, that what is happening here, as uncomfortable as it seems to be playing out for you, is a blessing in disguise. There's something here that is absolutely for your highest good, that is trying to emerge through the energies that we are seeing playing out, but it seems to be doing it in quite an uncomfortable way. And we say that because the amount of swords that we've got on the table is ridiculous, right? Three of Swords, Queen of Swords, Page of Swords, Six of Swords, Six of Swords again, Seven of Swords here. It is definitely the dominant energy on the table, where the Pentacles are only getting a little bit of a look in here and there. And as we know, Pentacles is earth energy, and that's where you're comfortable. And there's something very specifically uncomfortable about this energy. So let's get into it. And we start with this Three of Swords and the Knight of Pentacles. Like I said, the Knight of Pentacles is Virgo energy, but it talks about lots of things. It talks about commitment. It talks about dedication and making sure that one takes no shortcuts with anything, right? It's doing the job properly. So then it comes to be very detail oriented, which is what we associate with Virgo anyway. And we've got Three of Swords here next to an energy that is talking about the details. Now, I wonder if it is that it wouldn't be very like you, Capricorn, not to attend to details, because this is an important part of how you progress further. But I cannot help but feel that there's something that you haven't seen. There's some sort of detail that you overlooked. And it feels almost like you've been blinded to it, like you were blinded to it. And then it has in some ways kind of broadsided you in some sort of way. You know, the Three of Swords talks about the pains of the heart, right? But ultimately it talks a bit more about truth hitting the heart. And I always think when the Three of Swords appears, we've got this sense of reality hitting really, really hard. Like something that we did not see before, some sort of connection that we didn't make, coming together and hitting us in such an emotional way that now we cannot see the world in the same place anymore. And it certainly seems to be with regard to something that you have been committed to, something that you've been perhaps trying to get off the ground in some sort of way. Like, it's almost like the detail of it slipped past you. And we've got this very interesting set of cards down here. We've got the Queen of Wands, which is Aries energy specifically, but it could be speaking to a fire sign generally. So we've got Aries and Leo and Sagittarius there. But it feels to me like somehow you feel like you've had the rug pulled out from underneath you. I mean, if the Queen of Wands isn't a specific fire sign here, one that seems to have been more focused on the detail than you at this point, then what we've got is news of something new starting, which I think at this point doesn't involve you, which is a really interesting set of cards. And the reason that I feel that is because this Judgment card is coming out sideways. Now, there are probably all sorts of tarot puritans the world over screeching in horror at me reading a card sideways, but I feel like it's a non-committal energy. When a card shows up that way, it's being what it is. When it shows up this way, sometimes it can talk about obstacles or blocks or delays. Certainly, it talks about it not being able to express itself fully as an energy, right? So when it comes out this way here, it's almost like the choice, the life-changing decision that we associate with judgment, or indeed judgment of any sort, that you are exercising or someone else is exercising, has kind of taken away from you the ability to be able to make the decisions for yourself. And that's very difficult when Capricorn likes to be in control of things, right? That's how you get stuff done. Now, it could be with this Judgment card, rather than being in the reverse, which would be completely stripping you of your ability to have any control over this, it is rather taking it out of your hands so that other people perhaps need to be involved. Perhaps it's as a direct result of some action that you did not take when you had the opportunity to do it. But it feels like the control's being pulled away. Now, the Queen of Wands, like I said, if she's not a fire sign for you, then it feels like a crisis of confidence, actually. Because there's something here that you've been working on, and I feel like it was to try and start something new for you, but it feels like the rug has been pulled out from underneath you, and it's something somebody else is doing now that doesn't involve you. Now, whether this is a work situation, whether this is an emotional situation for you, I'm inclined to actually lean towards the latter, because of the cards that we saw for you last month. Now, I can't remember even what I termed your video, what title I gave it last month. But there was a sense of I don't know if it was you putting your head in the sand or something, but there was something affecting you so deeply that I'm inclined to think that it wasn't work related, right? This is an aspect of you that you don't deal with very often, not to this depth. at least anyway. And it seemed to be that which was being highlighted last month. And then we've got a situation here that makes me feel, as I'm sat here, makes me feel kind of panicky a little bit. You know, we've got the High Priestess and the Judgment card underneath here too, although obviously in this case the Judgment card is in the upright. Same sort of, wow, same Aries energy at least, but possibly Scorpio and possibly Pisces. You know, whatever this situation is, it seems to be going deep into the core of you, and there seems to have been a decision that was obvious if you engaged with your emotions, if you engaged with what was important. The decision was almost obvious, and yet in some way you felt compelled not to make it, because that's what I feel like that Judgment card is there. It's been taken out of your hands now because it's been sat with you for so long. So we've got the Queen of Swords and the Page of Swords here. Now she's Libra energy. The Page of Swords is somewhat of a wild card for sword energy, but he talks about the gathering of information, and the Queen of Swords is about processing the information. So I wonder if what it is that you're doing here is trying to work out what your position is exactly. Without the ability to control the situation, it has been somewhat taken out of your hands. Now it's like, where do I actually stand? What does this actually mean for me? Is there any way of reasserting control, I guess? Let's have a look and see which. I'm going to go over the Triple Goddess here. Yeah, we've got the Nine of Wands with the Two of Wands and the Page of Wands. So we talk about the Two of Wands in terms of crossroads energy, but it seems to be being torn between going with the flow and protecting yourself. And it seems like you're trying to protect your position at this point, because we've got the Six of Swords, right? We've got a desire to move away from conflict, but at the same time, either you are not open to conciliation, or you're so triggered emotionally that you're feeling stuck and trapped and don't know what to do. I mean, this Four of Cups is at the bottom of this deck as well here for you. It seems like protecting yourself, protecting your interests, protecting your position. And it still feels incredibly emotional. It does not feel like it's a work situation, because it just wouldn't get to you in this way. Like, you're confident enough and capable enough in your skills and abilities in that area that there isn't anybody who's going to outmaneuver you in this kind of way. And I don't necessarily think that you've been outmaneuvered, although that seems to be the prevailing energy that is coming off this reading here. It's more like procrastination has got you to where you are. Tell me about this Four of Cups. Whoa. So we've got the Ace of Cups in reverse. We've got the Six of Pentacles, and we've got the Two of Swords. Now, if you remember how I said before, it seemed to me like there was something here that you had not wanted to act on. Perhaps you were hoping it would just sort itself out and balance itself out. But this Ace of Cups is in the reverse. Now, we can talk about that in a general sense, in so much as frankly, that there's very little love in this situation at all. You know, the cup has been turned upside down. It is now disgorging its contents, you know, wherever it might be. But we can also talk about the way that you see yourself, Capricorn, and I do think this is really, really important. Because what seems to be going on here is a resistance to change. It's a resistance to something happening that you have not had any control over. Certainly somebody else seems to be spearheading this, and it's affecting you. But it's everything that is coming from that seems to be important to me, because if you could see this situation from more of a macro perspective, you could see the changes that the universe is trying to bring about in you, in the way that you think, in the way that you see your own position and whatnot. Because we've got this Hermit bookending these set of cards here. It's like the fight isn't outside of you at this point at all. And the problem is that seems to be exactly where you perceive the fight to be. The fight seems to be much more internal. Four of Cups is this feeling of rejection. Right? This feeling, I actually feel like the Six of Swords is feeling more like left behind than leaving a situation that is in some way not good for you. Because it's here with the Four of Cups. It's a sense of being left behind, this sense of feeling stuck and trapped and not knowing which way to turn. Essentially bound by your own thoughts here. And then we've got the Hermit saying this is a time to look really, really deeply within yourself and see what it is that you do not see at this point. Instead of trying to shore up your position, sort of recognize that your thought patterns are keeping you stuck in one place, so that almost to the degree that you can't see what is going on. Not outside of you, again, like what's going on inside of you, what is being called on to change. It's interesting, we've got that page of, the Knight of Pentacles again at the bottom of the deck. And we're back to this idea of details, we're back to this idea of commitment. Actually, almost back to an idea of environment too, because Virgo, I feel, is very sensitive to the environment. It's something in your environment that is shifting, but it is this cascade of emotions that go along with it that is giving you the opportunity for growth, for great healing. The High Priestess and the Hermit showing up together, these are very internal propositions. It's nothing to do with what's going on outside of you. So the question is, are you ready to change? Saturn, as I'm recording this, Saturn has moved into Pisces, and we have Pluto moving into Aquarius at the end of the month. But I think, do we not also have Mars moving into Cancer? Instead of being in Gemini, which is very sparky and very fast, and it's been there for a very long time, it's like 8 months or something like that, which is almost unheard of. Mars is a very fast moving planet. It doesn't tend to stick around in signs for too long at all. But it's been there for 8 months, and now it's shifting. And it's shifting into a sign that is much more, Queen of Cups, nurturing and soft. It talks about the way that we receive. Like, how are you receiving the lesson that is coming from the universe at you? These are very passive cards here, but they're both truly emotional. Now, this Ace of Cups is in the reverse. Now, whether this refers to people that you are dealing with, or whether, more specifically, it talks about the way that you deal with yourself, and I think that that's more likely as I'm looking at this on the table. There's an opportunity that is being presented to you here to completely revolutionize that bit of you that has always felt a little bit jarring to you, which is your sensitive, emotional side. But one has to accept it in order for that to happen. There's the first lesson, it's acceptance. When we move into April, we've got the Six of Swords and the Three of Wands. Now, both of these talk about movement. They talk about action. In fact, the Three of Wands is a very active card. If the Two of Wands, which we've already had, there it is about the internal conversation that one has with oneself about which direction you're going to go in, and even on a smaller level than that, the decisions that you make day to day, and Capricorn should be very aware of this, the cumulative effect of those disciplined decisions day after day. Having chosen a route forwards, then actually being in the act of going to do it. And like I said right at the beginning, there's a cost with everything, Capricorn. And the question is whether you are prepared to take it. because this Six of Swords here does talk about the moving from choppy waters into calm. It's almost like we've got a boat in motion here, and then we've arrived maybe at a new place over here. We've got that same flat water that you seem to be headed towards. I mean, at the very least, this is a sense of you getting in charge, reclaiming the control, but for oneself rather than the situation outside of you. I mean, what is a situation that is going to make you feel more zen? Frankly, you know, we've got calm water here, calm water here. We've got this passive energy of the High Priestess here. We've got this passive energy of the Queen of Cups. It's like, when it comes to your emotional well-being, what is the thing that makes you feel better? Because I think up until this point, with that Seven of Swords, there's in some way been some sort of deceit going on. And I feel like the deceit is actually in your own mind, rather than in the situation outside of you. And I say that because, you know, the whole reading is kind of pushing towards this sort of internal transformation that's going on. But these are cards of your movement. It's like tension has built up over a long period of time, right? And this most recent situation, whatever this is, it represents like your tectonic plates locking up, and there has been a pressure there. Now, the Seven of Swords, whilst it does talk about deceit, and more specifically the way that we deceive ourselves, I feel at this point, it's like providing a vent for that. It's providing a vent for the emotions. Thank you. What do we have here? In order that you might release them. But first, you really do need to pay attention to what is going on inside of you. Right? We've got the High Priestess in reverse, and we've got the Five of Pentacles in reverse. Now, High Priestess is you know, reversed and upright here. I don't think that there's any way that you can get to stabilize yourself, such as we see in this Five of Pentacles in reverse, until you start releasing the things that are deep down. You know, when we talk about the High Priestess, she rules emotion, she governs emotion, because she's associated with Pisces. For me, there's a lot of other things she rules too, like ancestral wisdom and spirituality generally. But she's an open channel for Source to come through and deliver wisdom, like directly to the head. But the other thing that she does, well, directly to the heart, I should say. The other thing that she does, what she's known for, is being silent. She doesn't share that wisdom with just anyone. You know, you have to go to the High Priestess with the right questions in the right order and with the right intent before she deigns to give an answer. You know, I feel like the message of the High Priestess is actually doubling down on the Hermit that came before, which is to say that actually you don't need, you know, flashes of insight from spirit. You don't need to listen to the higher wisdom or anything like that. At this point, actually, what you need is inside you. What you need is to remove the obstacles to movement that are inside you. Perhaps what it is that you need to do is speak. But certainly there's a sense of something being released and something being dislodged, and then one getting to a point where this Five of Pentacles can stabilize itself. And your internal place does not need to be characterized by frustration or a sense of loss or a feeling of being left out. Again, that is very strong. It's almost like something's moving forwards without you. And it's acting as a catalyst to really address what this Four of Cups really means to you. Certainly pointing you towards the Ace of Cups right here. And we've got the Eight of Pentacles showing where the work needs to happen, where the commitment needs to be put in. And it's not to anything outside of you, Capricorn, it is to yourself. Because this Nine of Cups here is saying, what do you really want? What really makes you happy? Because I don't think happiness is a word that comes up for you very often. You know, satisfied, content, that things are on track and moving as they should. You know, feeling like you're in control. Like these things can be something that can, you know, masquerade as things that feel good to you. But all they're really doing, like I said, is masquerading the fact that there is something inside of you that feels unloved. No one outside of you is going to be able to help you shift that. That is something that you have to do for yourself. And this whole situation seems to be designed to get you to look at where you have not been meeting your own basic needs, where you have compartmentalized bits of yourself, where you have where you've walled yourself up inside yourself to the extent that in some ways you don't know who you are. This is about breaking all of this down. Tell me about the Eight of Pentacles. We've got the Temperance card. I mean, that says it all. Temperance card with the Ace of Wands. I said right at the beginning, I felt like there was something really glorious underneath all of this. And it's right there. You know, it's taking you towards the new start, where you get to engage with the new. The possibility of living differently. But certainly this idea that you can be creative and you can be passionate and you can be full of emotion, and that emotion doesn't need to rule you. Like almost like the drudgery and things that you have worked so hard for, right? The discipline for which you are famed keeps you doing, you know, keeps you on a level, and it keeps you on a path to victory all the time. It's very focused. It cuts out the world around. But where is the fun? Where is the light-hearted energy? It's almost like it keeps getting taken away from you. It's almost like you can look at it through a window. This is real grass is greener, you know. It's asking you to break down those bits of you that have kept you stuck in a paradigm that doesn't exist anymore, I think. Because this Temperance card does talk about balance and moderation, and maybe there needs to be more balance and moderation between your work-home life balance. But it feels deeper than that. It feels like this possibility of profound healing when you start thinking about what would actually make you happy, rather than something that is stopping you from feeling out of control, or stopping you from feeling like lost. I do feel like it's the detachment from engagement that is causing the problem, not the things that you're refusing to engage with. And so in April, as you begin to engage with these things, it feels transformative, completely transformative actually, Capricorn, and rightly so. Oh, that's what I called your video last month, the emotional flashpoint. Yeah, I mean, if last month was everything coming to a head, then this month is about how you deconstruct that and use it for your highest good. That's where the Queen of Swords will be your best friend. But if you are trying to misuse that energy to protect your position, to protect the paradigm that you thought you were in, you're effectively just doubling down on the message. Where this is saying, Capricorn, look at it differently and see that I am bringing you a gift, and it's a gift that will release you. It'll release you from an emotional captivity that you weren't even aware, really, more than vaguely, that you were living in. It doesn't all have to be stern, hard, disapproving, discipline all the time, you know? Sometimes it can be light and sometimes it can be fun. And I wonder if you've lost sight of what that looks like. And here is the universe coming in to give you an opportunity to tweak the insides of you enough that you can see what is out there, what is possible for you, and allow yourself to have it. But for me, it all hinges around this Ace of Cups here. You know, what's going on outside of you is of secondary import compared to what is going on inside, the changes that are being wrought here. And you can fight it, or you can go with it and allow yourself to heal. For some of you, it's to forgive yourselves about something. And it's funny because that feeling comes from a place that makes me think it's something that consciously you don't think that you've got any blame or shame over, but your subconscious does. And where the subconscious and the conscious minds are in conflict, it creates a schism. And it seems to me that the energy is about trying to pull you together. It's huge growth, Capricorn. It really is. If you can go with it, if you can accept it, if you choose to fight it, it's going to be altogether more difficult. But we're in such extraordinary times, I don't think that you will be fighting it. It's almost like logic will prevail, even though we're moving into incredibly illogical times in the process. There's a lot here that feels like preparation for a do-over, in so much as you get to have another opportunity to do things again. Almost like there will be the first half of Capricorn's life and then everything that happens after here. And I mean, I'm kind of getting a sense of that for a lot of signs anyway. It's a true rebirth. And it's almost like you get to experience life again from a totally different perspective. I think it looks wonderful. Challenging, for sure, but wonderful. So I'm going to leave it there. If you would like to join me over Vimeo or Circle, you're very welcome to do so. The link is in the description box. But if not, no shade, you do you. Just know that all the tools you need to grow are in the places you don't want to look. And if the universe is forcing you to look, then the universe is wanting you to grow. And it's time, you know. So yes, know that I love you all very, very much. And I will see you soon.